What's going on, traders? How we doing out there? Who's ready to get it started? Let's go ahead. Earnings are coming out any moment now. We got to pay attention to see what happens in Netflix, of course. And I'll tell you right now, guys, I'm excited to see what happens with this. Of course, you guys see the first action shaking all around right now. We got to go ahead and take a look at the numbers here. Of course, I'm going to be using Benzinga Pro to be doing this. You guys can do the same, guys. Of course, we have this as one of our partners that you guys can check out every single day. So here you guys have it. Let's go ahead. Let's take a look at the numbers coming in. They just came in, so we'll be looking for the numbers any moment now. Definitely seeing the algos jump in real quick here, guys. Things are moving all around. I'm seeing it down there to 601 and could come right back up, right? This is going to move all around here. And just as you got it there, we'll be taking a look to see what happens in the subscribers, right? That's one of the most important things, is taking a look to see what happens in the subscriber numbers. That's the nitty gritty. Will they go ahead and have another beat in subscribers? That's the thing that I'll be watching. Of course, their recent report of 9.3 million was a big move. It brought them to a whopping 269.6 million. I want to see what happens on this report. We'll see what happens here. I'm refreshing here, trying to get us the second quarter earnings. I still don't really see it out there. If you guys see anything, let me know, guys. I'm taking a look at it here. Looking at it right now, I still didn't even got it on the website. So just there it is. Now I got it here. We'll take a look at the action here. I am pulling some of the summary up right now. It's saying that we had a strong Q2 with 17% revenue growth. I'm going to put this up for us to go ahead and take a look at it here. Let's go ahead. Let me put this up here so you guys can see it too. And I'll talk about the highlights here, really. This just came out, so I'm trying to catch it as you guys are also. We had a strong Q2 with 17% revenue growth. Operating margins were at 27% versus 22% last year. We now expect the full year of 24 reported revenue. And I'm going to put the chart up here so you guys can follow with the action here. Like always, guys, we can go ahead and just pull up here. We're going to pull up our, let's pull it up here. It's right behind me on the big screen, but I'll pull it up right here, guys. Taking a look at the action here. Netflix down pretty good here. Got down there to 600. We'll look to see if it starts to play a recovery here. It looks like a good report here. Expected full year revenue growth at 14% to 15%, up from 13 and 15%. Operating margins were at 26% versus 25% in Q2. They had a wide variety of series like Bridgerton, S3, Baby Reindeer, Queen of Tears, The Great Indian Capel Show. I didn't check that one out, guys. You guys out there, what have you guys been watching on Netflix? They're saying they're making steady progress in the ad business. Of course, the ad tier is a major spot here. Ad tier membership grew 34% quarter on quarter. That's exactly what we want to be looking at. And of course, something that we're looking at right here. If we take a look at the revenues are looking good here, guys. So you guys can see it here from their report. I'm looking at it right when you guys are taking a look at the action here. You guys can see the year-over-year growth at 16%. I could see this maybe rebounding even on the day here. So you can see here, global paid subscribers did go up to 277. So continuing the growth here year over year, that's a 16% growth. Now we're starting to see this climb back here. Can I take a trade on this, guys? We'll take a look at the action here. I don't mind taking one here, guys. Let's see if we can get it here. Take a little bit of a trade here in the 620 spot, but I'm only going to take like just a small amount here. If I do take it, guys, maybe 5 shares. You know, I'm not trying to take a big trade. I've had a really good day already, guys, up about $300 here, but 620 doesn't look too bad. Let's see if I can get it in here. We'll see what happens. It's right now trying to get it in there. We'll see if I get this, but look at that. Nice starting to come back. If we look at here, the results are really not that bad here. And we'll take a look here. What are they trying to tell us about shares of U.S. screen time, and showing us that 8.4%. Of course, you guys heard a lot of talk on YouTube. YouTube was pointing towards this, talking about how YouTube was taking over, right? Well, Netflix is right behind that, right? 8.4 of all streaming out there, right? It's what? It's YouTube, it's Netflix, baby. Prime is there, but look at that, 3%. And what do you see here? 40% streaming. They've cut the cable. They've cut the broadcast, guys. This looks like it's recovering, and there it goes, 643. So that 620 buy wouldn't have been a bad one. You guys see it getting up there back towards the 640s. Of course, closing price was right here at 642.82. That's going to be the spot to watch. Can it get back through the closing price is so important. That's what I look at, especially to see what happens here. Definitely smash the like, guys. I'm seeing a lot of you guys tuning in on X right now. We do a live trading show every single day, and we're going to keep doing more of these earnings as they come out. Of course, we got to keep watching to see what happened here. There's a lot on this report to take a look at. I'm going to keep watching to see if we can get a little bit more from this. So I'll take a look at the financial summary and see if there's anything else that we really kind of need to focus on. Of course, the ad tier growing, that's not bad at all. I really wanted to focus on the advertising and advertising growing. That's something that I'm definitely going to be focusing on. So we'll see what happens here, but definitely a lot to talk about here on Netflix as the earnings come in and shake up everything out there. Right now, I'm getting some more information here. We'll take a look at the action here in Q2, but it really isn't looking bad at all out here, guys. So let's take a look a little bit more at the action here as, of course, more information's coming in to me here. I'll take a look at the script here that I have here. Netflix telling me that this is a big boost here, guys. Let's pay attention to the action here. There it is. All right, guys. So first thing first, I want to talk to you guys about what's going on here. The Q2 was a big move here, and this report wasn't a bad one at all. Let's take a look at the subscriber growth. 9.3 million in Q1, right? And now you're at 269.6. So let's see if that can keep pushing towards the next layer here. We'll see what happens. I mean, this is not a bad outlook here coming in. I want to see what happened here also in gaming. So there had some mentions here about gaming. Netflix is expanding, of course, its gaming offering, including upcoming titles based on Virgin River, Emily in Paris, and even multiplayer Squid Games. Live events, though, is something that definitely they're looking at. The Tom Brady roast was a hit with 22.6 million views. Netflix scored the NFL Christmas Day games for the next few years. That's also something that we've been talking about, right? What really excites you guys out there right now in Netflix? I'm going to catch you guys in the chat here, but to me, what excites me is some of the live sports mentions. That's something that I definitely want to take a look at. Vic, you want a short? Ooh, I don't know about the short here, man. And things are looking good in the report here. So that's one thing that I definitely would kind of note and take a look at. The advertising is growing 34%. Gaming is growing. Live events kind of continuing to push forward. They upped their full year 24 revenue growth forecast to 14 to 15%. That's expecting an operating margin of 26%. So all that's looking good in the report. Definitely can't say that there's much here that's looking negative. So interesting to see that we're seeing this kind of pullback. Now, one thing I want to put on the radar, and I think that everybody should be thinking about this, is what's going to happen right at the end of this month and going into the next quarter, right? Because we can think about what happened right now, but of course, it's always the forward outlook that matters. And to me, there's going to be big subscribers probably gaining as, of course, there's a big fight coming up at the end of the month with Netflix. So let's see if we can see Netflix get back through that closing price. You see how it racked it right there. The line, we could draw it here, guys. I'm going to show you guys how this line kind of drew up right there. And that's what you're looking right now for the Bulls to see if they can take it back through that level. You guys can see the close right here. It's 642.82. Maybe I could pull it down there to the, but I have it right there closer towards the 643s. Let's see if it reclaims that, or does it go back through that 620 spot where we kind of got the pop away from. That's where I saw kind of the turnaround here. Let's see if it takes that 620 out. If it takes it out, it could keep coming right back down, guys. Like always, when you get the earnings reports, there's always going to be the first shake, which is the algos trying to grab it and tug it in every direction. This went all the way as high as 658 and then all the way down as what, 600. So you're talking 50 points. That's no joke, guys. More than that, 58 points, right? So you got to be careful out there. The content wins were pretty good wins out there. So that's not a bad outlook here. You guys can see there that Netflix is doing good. Bridgerton season 3 did 98.5 million views. Under Paris, the French shark horror movie had 90.9 million views. And then Baby Reindeer had 88.4 million views. And Netflix just bagged 107 Emmy nominations across 35 series, TVs, and specials. Not too shabby at all, man. But the new venture is definitely something to keep an eye out. The live events, the kind of the NFL games, that's something definitely to kind of keep watch. Netflix now has 277.65 million paid memberships annually. That's up 16.5%. That's what we want to keep watching. It's continuing to kind of beat. You guys can see it with YouTube, how it's comparable. This is not a bad report at all here, guys. So definitely not a bad one there. We'll take a look at some future action here. I want to go ahead and kind of pull this up here, guys, because I wanted to show you guys this. I did a little bit of some research. Of course, this is probably not going to be updated with the action right now, but there's something that definitely we can take a look at here. So you guys can see the action here. Of course, the consensus was a buy from the price action and the analyst ratings. If you look at it here, the average analyst is on a buy, and there's been some strong buys as of late. So that's something that you want to see. It's mainly buys, not too many holds. But that's something that I look at here. And just recently, we got some kind of strong buys with a price target of 735. You got another one here of 685. And a couple of analysts stepping up there with strong buys. There's only one strong sell here, kind of the lemming. But hey, that's how you guys see it here. B of A Securities, Jessica, giving it a 740 and a maintain. Now the forecast. This is what I think is important. And I think that we'll be looking into the earnings report. And a lot of people will be doing analysis on this as we look forward. What's going to happen with that revenue, right? Well, on the high end, you guys can see it towards kind of 2024 at the end, being at that 41 billion, right, on the high end. And then going into 25, 46, 53, and 60. So the outlook is still for the growth to be there. The earnings per share is really where they're trying to focus on, right? Because there's been a big shift in Netflix, right? There was a shift where it didn't really focus on subscriber growth, because the subscriber growth is going to get smaller and smaller as it keeps growing. It shouldn't get that expansion anymore. But one thing that they're focusing on is profitability, right? And profitability now becomes a focus. So the earnings per share become a big focus. And that's where this company was in 2019 at, let's say, a 4.13. Now you see the earnings per share in 22, we're at 9. Now you're getting those earnings per share towards 12. And look at the outlook. The outlook is pretty big. So the average is a big kind of spike towards the end of the year. So we'll look to see if they get that spike. A lot of outlook here on the forecast, getting it up to an average at the end of the year of 18. Right now we're at 12. That's going to be kind of hard, right? So keep your eyes on that. We'll see what happens there. The EPS growth, that's going to be something definitely to kind of keep watch. The earnings per share, we'll see if this can continue that growth. Of course, the revenue growth is also expected to get up there, but you can see it's also slowing down. Some of this growth outlook is actually intended to slow down and then speed back up. So 25 expecting to see a little bit of a slowdown. That's a little bit something to be concerned about. Of course, if we take a look, the revenue is just continuing to grow. The growth does not look too bad. It has slowed down, but in 24, it's expected to really speed up. And that's the EPS growth that I talked about here. So we'll continue to watch if that can happen. But the earnings per share need to continue to kind of raise, and it's going to have a high bar because the expectations are out there to be so high on this EPS growth, something to look forward to, right? So look at the EPS growth here expected for 24, 56%. So that's when they start to flip there, and they're now focusing on that profitability. We'll see what happens here. Didn't like the 1 minute gap up. Let's take a look at the action here on how they're performing. Of course, the earnings coming in here, and they got earnings there. There were EPS was 488, beating the 475. Sales of 9.5, beat the 9.52. So not looking bad at all here. They also see Q3 revenues at 9.72 versus a 9.82 estimate, and holding that 625 spot, right? That 620 spot on the pullback. So not a bad look here off the 620. You can see how it held it there. Low of 620, low of 620. I think that 620 is holding right now. We'll see what happens if it can keep going back up and making a move back towards the 640s, 642s, and starting to climb, right? That's what I'm thinking here on Netflix, because the report really wasn't bad, but it doesn't always just depend on the report. It also depends on the overall market and on the day that you're reporting. And of course, the SPY didn't have the best day today, right? But the SPY is coming back right now. It wouldn't be too bad if we can get a nice little pop there and Netflix can keep that run going here. We'll see what happens on Netflix overall, but Netflix always affects Disney too. And I felt like Disney could get a little bit of a pop on this. Let's see what happens, because Disney has been hurt for a while now. If you take a look at the daily chart, at least the 5-minute chart, not really showing anything, but of course, Disney down there to the 96. We'll look to see if it bounces back. Right now, trading at that 96.84 and really not getting the move. Got a little bit of a dip there. Let's take a look at Roku. Sometimes Roku takes a hit also on that Netflix report. You can see it did do a little bit of a dip, but now trying to recover. So I'll keep watch on these. I always look at a little bit of some sympathy play with these earnings, but Netflix, not bad earnings, still hanging in there right now. Of course, the earnings call is going to be important to keep an eye open for. Earnings call is going to be a little bit later. It's at 4:45, guys. So if you guys want to take a look at that, I'll throw up the web link so you guys can get towards that. I'm going to be wrapping up at 4:30, but that'll be starting at 4:45, and they usually run about an hour. It's a recorded call. That's one thing I'll tell you. Netflix has a tendency of doing that recorded call. Yeah, and that's the hard part there. Netflix call is kind of real corporate-like. Let's just say that much. I've listened to it in the past. It's video at least. So if you want to check it out, definitely, guys, check it out. You guys can check out Benzinga Pro. And also got to give Stock Analysis a little love, stockanalysis.com. And they're using data from Benzinga. So that's the outlook there too, right? So overall, outlook is looking good for the financial forecast looking forward. If we look at the numbers and we look at what they're doing, that's what really matters to me. So things like expanding further into football is going to help them. Live sports, of course, there's also big talks of the NBA, right? NBA rights are going to be battled on. Maybe Netflix is battling for some of that action too, because of what I've heard is that the NBA will be on a national level in kind of 2025 and moving forward on a nightly basis, especially once football stops. So keep your eyes also on the football aspects of this, because that's what they're looking at. They're trying to figure out a way, how do we increase subscribers? Well, one of the areas that we haven't looked at is live sports. So let's maybe start to increase some of that content underneath our belt so that by the time we're looking to see growth, well, there it is. Now we have the sports fans coming to Netflix and being subscribers. So that's why I'm also going to focus to see what happens with the big fight. Of course, Mike Tyson. That's what I'm expecting. I'm expecting one of these, the little left hook. Boom! Just give him that left hook. Take him out. Take out Logan Paul. Hey, we'll see what happens, guys. That big fight with Paul and Tyson's going to be at the end of the month. I think is it the 29th? What date is it? I think it's the 26th or the 28th. One of those 2 days. We'll see. I got to look up when the exact date of that, but I know it's towards the end of the month. I'm going to be looking at it. I've had Netflix for forever. The wife loves it. Can't get rid of it. So if you guys in the chat, let me know. You guys tuning in right now, who has Netflix? Do you got Netflix right now? You're paying up? Let me know. Also, the password sharing stopping, right? Netflix actually got away with it. I thought that they would get hit for it. They actually got away with it, and they are mean, man. I'm telling you. My dad has like a subscriber subscription with his ex-wife, and it's kind of interesting, but they actually hit her just because she's in another kind of city, right? Like you can't even be in another city. They'll cancel your account. They'll cut it off. I mean, hey, they're getting their money's worth. That's for sure. But all right, like always, guys, it's about 4:20. We got about 10 minutes left here. Let's get back to the action. Let's take a look at how the stock is moving here. Definitely coming back down closer towards that 620. So it's still not breaking that 620, but it's not doing too much now. It's starting to slow down a little bit here. We'll look to see if it gets back through the trend line here and then starts making a trend line approach. Let's go ahead. Let's draw that line. Let's see it here. Boom, there you guys have it. We'll see if this gets right back up there towards that and holds the pullback. Definitely wouldn't want to see this line break for the kind of the bulls. If this line breaks here, this kind of 615s, you might have to go, and then you start to get that red look trying to take out this low here, the 612.50. But not looking too bad, holding in right now, now starting to make that trend line approach. Let's see if we get back to the 642.50 and start to take that upside approach. We'll see what happens out there. Future day trade, what's up out there? Did Netflix post? Yes, it did, baby. Yes, it did. Not looking too bad here. And overall, I didn't have a bad day today, guys. I had a crazy battle of a day, guys. Was able to make a good trade on Goldman Sachs. Like always, take a look at our live streams every single morning. We start up at 8:30. We talk about, of course, a playbook. We also give you guys a sunrise report every single day. This is giving you news in the market, what's moving stocks, and we're going to keep doing some more earnings. Next week, I know we'll probably be looking at maybe like Tesla and other names. If you guys have an earnings report you guys want to see covered right here, hit it up in the comments after the show. I will definitely go ahead and take a look at those comments to see what earnings reports I will be covering next week and throughout the earnings season. There's a lot to talk about. Of course, Tesla's earnings are always fun to talk about. We'll get to that action. Here's that recovery now starting to get up there towards the 630s. So, hey, that 620 buy wouldn't have been too bad there. It's holding in. We'll see if that 620 holds up there. Not a movie guy, a news and sports guy. Sports are rigged. Sports are rigged. Anyways, hey, but what kind of guy are you, future day trade? So you don't like the news, you don't like the movies, you don't like sports. What do you like? Now we'll see what happens on this move. Now it's starting to really kind of ramp. We'll see if it takes that 642. That's the level that I'll be watching to see if we get some upside approach. I know the Qs are rising a little bit. That's helping. Right? If we could get that to lift, Tesla even going up a little bit there, looking around to see what happened. But not a bad day overall for me, guys. I'm going to be celebrating as I made a hell of a call there on Goldman Sachs today on the stream. But hey, that actually made me bounce back. I'm actually ending the day pretty green after being pretty red early in the day on MSOS. But Netflix earnings, not bad here. Let's go ahead and do another recap. Take a look at the report here. They gave us, of course, some kind of earnings and outlooks right off of the report. You guys can get this all the time from their IR also. So you can see here the year-over-year growth is so important to focus on. So you see in Q2 is down to 2.7%. The growth was almost non-existent. Then things started to get better in Q3 of 23, 7%, 12%. Now, this was already a great report in Q1 of 24. Now we get an even better report here, 16.8% on the growth, really starting to kick it off. The operating income slightly down, right? You can see here, you slightly took a dip there in the operating margins, maybe giving up some margins to kind of give that ad tier a little bit of a pop, right? Still push on that aspect, but not bad at all here, guys. The diluted EPS is something to watch and forecast moving forward. As you see it go back towards the $5, that's something that we'll be watching, the operating margin to improve, and for year-over-year growth to kind of stay high in the double digits, right? That's what needs to happen. You get back into the single digits and you'll shake up this report and things will start come crashing down. Global growth, not looking bad too. It slowed down and went to 8%, back into the 16%. That's always going to continue to help things grow at Netflix. And like we talked about, this was a big mention from YouTube. They were like 9.9% shares of U.S. screen time. Well, 8.4 for Netflix. 40% of kind of the viewing in the world is now on streaming. And that's pretty interesting because this was not the way it was, let's say even 10 years ago, right? So we'll continue to watch this. And you can see here, Disney Plus, just 2%. So we're talking what? It's 4 times that and more in Netflix. That's what they're up against. That's why I think it's so hard for a company like, let's say, Warner Brothers or Paramount that's out there, even Disney out there, to compete. You guys can see them on here. It looks atrocious, guys. I mean, 1% here for Peacock, 1% for Paramount, 1.4% for Max, right? Do you even see here? Oh, man, this is bad here, guys. You don't even see Discovery on here, right? So I think in the long run, I think you're going to see Max. I think you're going to see Paramount, maybe team up with some other name too. Maybe include a different name, Discovery, right? Add that all together. Then maybe you can have the 3% and 4% to kind of compete with the middle tier names. But will Prime Video be an actual competitor to Netflix? I'm not sure. I mean, they do got the football, and that's what's helped them get a little bit of some push. Hulu, it's still around, but that's been around for a long time. And then Disney, only at 2%. Disney is not growing by any means necessary. And I think that at the end of the day, these are your two bad boys, YouTube and Netflix. And a lot of YouTube, you guys tuning in right now, hit the like, right, while you're at it. But like always, guys, we're going to keep taking a look into earnings report. I hope you guys enjoy the action. Paw Patrol kind of guy. Hey, no worries. I'm more of a Bluey kind of fan, but we can talk about that another day, future day trade. Definitely, we'll see what happens here. But that just goes to show you that majority of people are just watching either YouTube or Netflix, man. That's what they're watching. And I can tell you guys, what do I watch? I watch a crap ton of YouTube. I'm on YouTube all the time, whether it be some podcasts, whether it be some trading information, right? Looking at other traders, learning from that, right? That's what I always do, guys. So, hey, that's just how it goes, guys. Now Netflix continuing to climb back towards 630, 50. So I think this all looks good. I don't see it coming down here back towards the 620s. But then again, this is just my outlook, right? Not here to give you guys investment advice, but just to show you guys what I'm seeing on the price action. And right now, it's continuing, looking like it wants to start to climb back to that 642. And we'll see what happens. It did kind of bottom out there, started to come back. Like I've talked about it, this is going to be that important price level to really kind of reclaim because that's your closing price. Closing price is one of the most important things when you're looking at earnings, because if you can reclaim that spot, all this down shake goes away. And if you're in a deeper time frame, like an hourly, this turns from red to green, and next thing you know, you're pushing back towards the 657s, and you could get back up there to the 660s. This is something that I'll be watching for. We'll see what happens here in Netflix. Not a bad action on the first drop. We'll look to see if it starts that recovery process or not. All right, guys. Sebastian in the chat. What's up out there? So for tomorrow's stream, Netflix buy on the pullback. Not a bad one. Come over tomorrow, Sebastian. We'll be starting at 8:30. I'll see you over. Maybe we'll take that shot. Prime Video is actually partnering with Paramount and Max. Like you can add them plus to your subscription. Yeah, Prime has been doing this for a while. They'll bring like a bunch of like where you can get Showtime and you can get this added on this and you can get all that just straight through Prime, and then you can use Prime to get after it. I've seen that, Sebastian, too. So, I mean, I've had Prime forever just because, I mean, Amazon is probably at my door right now. You know how it is. I talk about it all the time. They don't ask anymore. They just pull up to my house and give me deliveries. But that's just how it goes, man. We'll see what happens there on Netflix. Definitely the shade coming down, but the earnings report was great. I can't say that the earnings report was bad because everything we've looked in there, the questions, right? If we think about what were the questions was, how's the subscriber rate? Subscriber rate went up. How is the earning growth? Subscriber growth, the earnings growth went up, right? 16.5% on the subscriber push. And then we just talked about the revenue numbers, right? That went up. If we look at the ad tier, is that slowing down? It's increasing. It's doing better. That's doing great. We take a look at some of the numbers that they had from certain shows. Great numbers. Then we think about how they're expanding into live sports. All these things are pointing towards the upside, and they're also letting you know, hey, everyone's just watching YouTube and Netflix. Don't forget about us. We're still out there and dominating. All right, guys, that's going to do it for us today. It's 4:30. I'm going to wrap it up, guys. I will be back tomorrow morning. Like always, guys, bright and early, taking a look at the action out there. I had a crazy, wild day, guys. I just want to give you guys a little bit of an outlook before I get going. Take a look at this filled orders today, guys. 44 orders, guys. It was a wild day indeed, guys. There's not too many out there that will show you this, guys, and show you guys a big loss here. This 410 loss really hitting me. But guess what, guys? We bounced back. Was able to make a killer trade on that NAAS that eventually went to 870s. Holy moly. I was trading that back here. I was buying that at 587s. And then, of course, taking some profits in that one. And then Goldman Sachs, really the killer, man. This one, a trade from 500, guys. What a trade on this one. Look at this. Boom, baby. Not a bad trade on that Goldman Sachs. And I came after it in some other financials, whether it be leverage or not. Check it out, guys. I'll be back in the morning continuing to battle with you guys. And don't forget, guys, like always, check out Trade the Pool. If you guys are looking for a way to have capital to trade, maybe it's the swing trade, because if you're trading the earnings, that's probably the account you should be looking at. If you haven't checked them out before, take a look into Trade the Pool and see how you guys can be getting the capital that you need to trade these kind of names, especially Goldman Sachs, $400, Netflix. A lot of people can't trade these because they're just too expensive. They can't get the amount they need. One of the best ways to do that is right here on Trade the Pool. See you guys in the morning. Smash the like, guys. I'll see you guys back. Like always, we'll see you in the morning, and stay safe out there, guys. Netflix climbing back 632, and not a bad outlook on that 620 buy as we start to climb. I'll look to see if we get back to that 643 by the morning, and I'll see you guys bright and early.